The tow truck pulled up before Melanie called anyone. That was the first thing she could never explain. Her tire blew at 12:38 in the morning on a back road outside Mason County, 30 miles from the nearest town and 10 miles past the last gas station. It happened fast. 1 second she was driving through a stretch of empty road lined with trees and black fields. The next there was a sharp pop from the passenger side. The steering wheel jerked. The whole car dipped right. Melanie gasped, corrected hard, and managed to pull onto the gravel shoulder before the rim hit the pavement. For a few seconds she just sat there with both hands locked around the wheel. The road behind her was empty. The road ahead was empty. No porch lights. No street lights. No other cars. Just the ticking sound of her engine cooling down and the low hum of insects outside. She reached for her phone. No service. Of course. She held it up toward the windshield, then toward the passenger window, then stepped out and raised it above her head like that would somehow pull a signal from the sky. Nothing. The night air smelled like wet dirt and pine sap. Her right front tire was shredded. Not just flat. Destroyed. The rubber hung in pieces around the rim and something shiny was stuck in the tread. Melanie crouched down and shined her phone light on it. A strip of metal, bent with sharp teeth, like part of a homemade spike strip. Her stomach tightened. She looked down the road, then back the way she came. Nothing moved. She stood slowly and got back into the car. She locked the doors. That was when headlights appeared behind her. At first, relief hit so hard she almost cried. Then the vehicle got closer. Big. Boxy. Amber lights on top. A tow truck. It slowed as it approached, then pulled in behind her car and stopped with its headlights flooding her rear window. Melanie stared at it in the mirror. The timing felt wrong. Too perfect. She had not called anyone. She had not flagged anyone down. She had not even had service. The tow truck's driver door opened. A man stepped out wearing a reflective jacket and a ball cap pulled low over his face. He walked up slowly, one hand raised like he was trying not to scare her. Melanie cracked the window only an inch. "You need help?" he asked. His voice was calm. Too calm for someone finding a stranded driver in the middle of the night. "My tire blew," Melanie said. "I'm fine. I'm just trying to get service." He glanced at the tire, then back at her. "Dispatch sent me." Melanie frowned. "What dispatch?" "Roadside assistance." "I didn't call roadside assistance." The man smiled slightly. "Someone did." A cold feeling moved through her chest. "Who?" He looked at the front of her car. Then he said her full name. Melanie Carter Wright. She stopped breathing. The window felt too open. She hit the button to roll it up, but his hand shot forward and caught the glass before it closed. Not aggressive. Just fast. "Easy," he said. "I'm trying to help." Melanie pressed the lock button again even though the doors were already locked. "How do you know my name?" The man tilted his head toward her license plate. "System pulls it from registration." That sounded almost believable. Almost. Except the car was registered to her father because he had helped her buy it in college. Her name was not attached to the plate. The man looked over her shoulder into the back seat. "You alone tonight?" Melanie did not answer. The amber lights on the tow truck kept rotating, flashing yellow across the trees. The man removed his hand from the window and stepped back. "Stay in the car if you want," he said. "I'll hook it from here." He walked toward the front tire. Melanie grabbed her phone again. Still no service. She opened the camera instead and pointed it toward the mirror, trying to record the truck behind her. That was when she saw something move in the passenger side mirror. Not outside. Inside the tow truck. Behind the driver's seat, a face disappeared into the dark. Melanie's grip tightened around the phone. The driver crouched beside her blown tire. He picked up the metal strip from the road and slipped it into his jacket pocket, like he was hiding it. Melanie lowered the window just enough to speak. "What was that?" He looked up. "What?" "The metal in my tire." He smiled again. "Road trash." Then her phone buzzed. She nearly dropped it. No service still. But somehow the text had come through from an unknown number. "Do not let him hook your car." Melanie stared at the screen. Another message appeared. "They do this here." Her skin went cold. She looked in the mirror again. The tow truck driver was standing now, watching her through the windshield. The smile was gone. A third message appeared. "Drive on the rim if you have to." Melanie's hand moved slowly toward the gear shift. The tow truck driver stepped toward her window. "Problem?" She locked eyes with him and lied. "My dad just texted. He's nearby." The man stopped walking. For the first time, his expression changed. Not fear. Annoyance. Then he looked at the tow truck and made a small motion with his hand. A side door on the tow truck opened. Another man stepped out. Then a third. Both wore dark hoodies under reflective vests. Melanie's stomach dropped. The first man said you shouldn't lie to people trying to help you. Melanie slammed the car into drive and hit the gas. The car lurched forward with a horrible grinding scream from the damaged rim. The steering wheel fought her. The car bounced and scraped against the shoulder, but it moved. One of the men shouted. The tow truck engine roared behind her. Melanie forced the car back onto the road, sparks flying from the passenger side as the ruined wheel chewed into the asphalt. She could barely keep it straight. The road curved ahead. The tow truck followed, close amber lights flashing across her rear window. Her phone buzzed again. "Keep going. 1 mile. White farmhouse." Melanie did not know who was texting her. She did not care. The car was shaking so hard the dashboard rattled. The rim screamed against the road. The smell of burning metal filled the cabin. In the mirror, the tow truck got close. Then its headlights shifted left. It was trying to pass. Melanie swerved toward the center line. The tow truck backed off. Her phone buzzed again. "Don't stop at the next car." Melanie looked ahead. Through the trees she saw taillights on the shoulder. A sedan sat crooked near the ditch with its hazard lights blinking. A woman stood beside it, waving both arms. Melanie's first instinct was to brake. Then the phone buzzed. "She's with them." The woman in the road stepped farther into the lane, forcing Melanie to choose. "Stop or hit the ditch." Melanie gripped the wheel and aimed straight for the center line. The woman jumped away at the last second. As Melanie passed, she looked into the sedan. There was no one in the driver's seat. The hazard lights blinked over an empty car. The woman's face changed as Melanie drove past. She wasn't scared. She was angry. The tow truck swerved around the sedan and kept coming. Melanie's car was dying now. The speed dropped from 40 to 35. Then 30. The rim sparked less because there was almost nothing left of it. She looked ahead desperately. A mailbox appeared on the right. Then a fence. Then finally a white farmhouse at the top of a long gravel driveway. A porch light was on. Melanie turned hard into the driveway. The car bounced over gravel, bottoming out twice. Behind her, the tow truck started to turn in two. Then floodlights exploded across the yard. Bright white light flooded everything. The tow truck stopped halfway into the driveway. A man stepped out onto the farmhouse porch holding a shotgun. An older woman beside him held a phone to her ear. The tow truck reversed fast. Too fast. Its rear wheels kicked gravel as it backed onto the road. The farmer fired one shot into the air. The tow truck sped away, amber light snapping off as it disappeared into the trees. Melanie threw her car into park and stumbled out, shaking so hard she fell to her knees in the driveway. The older woman ran to her and wrapped the blanket around her shoulders. "You got the texts?" she asked. Melanie looked up. "That was you." The woman nodded. "My husband saw them put the strip down." Melanie stared at her. The woman explained that their farm had a security camera facing the road because fuel had been stolen from their barn the year before. 3 weeks earlier, they caught the same tow truck stopping near the shoulder. One man laid something across the road. Another waited farther down. A woman parked a deco car near the bend. Then they waited for someone driving alone. They called police the first time, but by the time deputies arrived, the truck was gone. The farmer had been watching it every night since. He saw Melanie hit the spike strip. He saw the tow truck arrive. And when his wife found Melanie's number from a missing dog flyer still posted online with her name and phone number, she texted her. Melanie started crying. Not from relief. From realizing how close she had been to unlocking her door. Police arrived 50 minutes later. They searched the road and found a sedan abandoned near the bend. Inside were wigs, reflective vests, gloves, zip ties, and 3 different license plates. In the ditch near where Melanie's tire blew, they found more strips of sharpened metal hidden under leaves. The tow truck was found 2 days later behind an empty storage building. Burn. No plates. No registration. No fingerprints that led anywhere. But in the cab, officers found a clipboard. On it were names. Vehicles. Times. Routes. Some crossed out. Some circled. Melanie's name was near the bottom. Black Honda. Female. Alone. Works late Thursdays. Takes county 14 after visiting mother. That was when she understood. This had not started when her tire blew. They had watched her before. Maybe at the gas station. Maybe at her job. Maybe outside her mother's house. They knew the road she took. They knew she would be tired. They knew she would have no service. And they knew exactly where to place the strip. A detective later told her at least 3 missing drivers from nearby counties had disappeared after reporting car trouble late at night. One had texted a friend, "Tow truck is here," and was never heard from again. Another car was found on the shoulder with 1 tire destroyed, keys still in the ignition, and no driver. After that, Melanie stopped taking back roads. She changed her route, changed her phone number, sold the car, but she still thinks about the man at her window. How calm he was, how practiced, how he looked into her back seat before asking if she was alone. And sometimes when headlights appear behind her at night, she checks the mirror and imagines amber lights flashing over the trees. Because the scariest part was not the blown tire. It was the tow truck arriving before help was ever called. So if your tire blew on an empty road, and the tow truck appeared before you could call anyone, would you open the window, or drive on the rim?